we got?
All right, hey, today we are fitting a diesel heater and I'm going to show you how to do it, all right? But I want to show you how the kit comes and a bit of info about where we got it and how much it is and all that sort of thing. So I'll drop a few title screens in below as well to help you out with the info. But let's start. This is how it comes, right? So it all came in this beautiful little box. What we've done, we have got an Ebaspacher Airtronic Diesel Heater, and I'm going to install it, tank on the front, diesel heater under the bed. But this is how it'll come in a box. The fuel tank will come separate. Now, if you're not installing it in a caravan, you probably won't need a fuel tank. If you've got a diesel van or something, you can actually pick up the fuel supply off your fuel tank. But we will have a separate reservoir on the front. This will go under the bed. Now, everything else comes in. You've got ducting, you've got intake, you've got exhaust, you've got fuel line, and you've got a wiring harness, and you've got a little fuel pump. Now, I'll sit down, swing in here a little closer.
Such a small unit.
It is tiny, yeah, and it doesn't weigh much at all. I'll put the specs in below. But you've got a few main components, all right? So let's start. You've got the fuel tank, so you're going to have diesel in that. That will live on the front of the toolbox for us. Then you've got a fuel pump, right? And that'll mount in the chassis rail. Now this is just like pulses diesel from the pump into the heater. Now in here is just like a heating element and a little glow plug style setup. The fuel comes in, it heats up, there's a fan at one end and it blows fresh air from your van across the heating element and out the other end. Now we all know hot air rises, so as it pumps out, your hot air is going to come up, float down the van because it's forced through with a fan, and they reckon they work really good. Come with me, I'm going to show you how the diesel heater works from start to finish. First up, you've got to put diesel in it, right? So where I've mounted the tank on the front, all you got to do is put diesel in it. Now, it takes about 10 or 12 litres, I think. And the good thing about diesel heaters is they're super efficient. So like we've been running this for nearly 2 months now, and this is the first time I've filled up the diesel tank. So there you go. I'll put some fuel in this and I'll show you how it works. Righto, here's the fuel line coming from the fuel tank down through here. Now I've put a bit of conduit around mine just to protect it along the chassis rail. Comes up here to the fuel metering pump, which is mounted at a correct angle and in its little rubber bracket to stop vibration. And then this fuel line and wiring comes this way. The wiring goes up to the control harness, and the blue line, the fuel line, comes into our diesel heater in the bottom. Then you've got this black hose here, which is the air intake for the heating side, which, if you've noticed, I've faced backwards to stop dust coming up through inside of it. Then as the fresh air goes in, the glow plug ignites the diesel, the exhaust and the hot air comes out this side, and it also goes through a muffler, so it's quiet on the outside. Comes out this little tailpipe, and then also face this one backwards to stop dust going in it as you drive it along. There you go. That's how it works, hey? Might sound a bit complicated, but once you get it in, it's pretty simple, hey? Righto, I'm going to tell you a few specs about this heater because we did a lot of research when looking at them, okay? And there is a lot of options, and we've ended up going with the Airtronic. And I'm going to read them out because there's too many to remember. But what we wanted was something that was quiet, something that was reliable, and something that was easy to control. Because we'd heard from a lot of other people installing heaters that they're way too hot, and you can only run them for 10 minutes and then you have to turn it off and all these sort of issues. So anyway, I'll read you out a few things about the Airtronic. Reduced noise fan. The fan is what they call a stageless, all right? So it has many speed steps, 31 speed steps. So that allows better airflow, which then allows you to control your heat in your caravan, all right? It's a brushless motor, so it's quiet and it lasts longer. And the reduced noise fuel pump is a big thing, because if you've ever talked to anyone with an old style diesel heater, the pump makes a tick, 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 tick noise, right? And that can get really frustrating, especially when it's mounted on your chassis rail and it resonates through your van. This is a super quiet pump, and it's mounted in a rubber bracket, so you don't hear a thing, mate. The whole system's actually super quiet. Unless you're cranking it at like 38 degrees, the fan ramps right up and all you hear is the fan. As soon as it cuts out though and it's just holding temp, you can't hear it at all. The new Easy Start Pro controller, which is the controller I showed you, it's smart, it's easy to use, and you have different sort of a lot of different modes to use, and it's got detailed diagnostic
error code info. So it'll tell you if your diesel tank's empty, or it'll tell you if you don't have power somewhere, all that sort of thing. And then it's got improved fuel consumption at maximum power. So like I said, we've had it running for like 4 to 6 weeks. I can't even remember. Filled it up once, and we've been cranking it a lot. So they use bugger all diesel. Anyway, there's a few bits of info for you. Hope you enjoyed that.